let's get right into it, man. Let's talk perspectives. I think we wanted to start with the biggest picture of all, which is kind of that overarching life perspective, even certainly as it relates to creativity, but more general, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's something. The perspectives thing, something that I've been really grappling with for a long time, it's for me, it's sort of it's attached a little bit to kind of mental health, really, because my perspective on my own kind of creative life and on my own personal life, a lot of the time, tends to veer towards like negative thinking. So look, I had a really good conversation this morning where I was talking about having won like a Beatport Awards for selling the most tracks in my genre back in 2010, I think it was. And in the same year, I won a couple of Breaks Poll Awards for best producer and best record label and stuff, which was really cool. But when I was talking about it this morning, like the person I was speaking to said, "You sound like you were reading off a shopping list or something." And I was kind of, yeah, but I don't really talk about that. And she got me to sort of really slow down and think about it. Like, so my perspective on it was very much like, that's just something that's happened. What's next? And that happens all the time with me. Like the minute I get to a point where, by all intents and purposes, I've actually achieved a goal of some kind, I'm already looking at the next goal and the next goal after that. So that sort of my perspective really is that I'm never really able to celebrate the wins when they come along, and that's a real challenge. So for me personally, it's really demanding to reframe that somehow. I'm not sure how to do it. I'm not, and I'd love to hear people's advice on that, but I'm not really sure how to reframe that thinking to be able to sort of celebrate those wins.
It's a recipe for burnout, right? Because you're never taking even the slightest moment to bask in the glory, so to speak, right? You're immediately like climbing further up to the next summit. And while drive is admirable, and I think for all of us, we've got some level of it, and some of us a ton of it, man, if you can't rest and rejuvenate and enjoy a little bit of that fruits of your labor, and whether that's an award or just the sense of a job well done, man, it's a, I mean, I hate to repeat myself, but it's a recipe for disaster and burnout, right? And
It
I think
is.
that it took a toll on your health, to be frank, right? Like, I think that constant drive that you've had for so long, decades, took a toll.
Yeah, and this is something that she was saying this morning, and she was talking about how I kind of operate in this quite toxic sort of cycle where I go between threat and drive, and if I'm not driving myself and I'm not kind of creating and I'm not learning, then I feel like this sense of threat because I'm not moving forward. That's my perception, is that I'm not kind of moving forward. So therefore I lean heavier and heavier into the drive side of things. And that's it is a recipe for disaster, but it's also, when I'm at my busiest and when I'm at my most creative, I'm also generally at my happiest because I'm just doing what I love doing. So it's a real it's potentially like a real sort of vicious circle, and it's a hard one to sidestep.
Yeah, I don't. I definitely have some of that too. I don't want to say to the same extent. I mean, I do look back on some previous accomplishments and things like that with a little bit more fondness. I mean, I still have my college radio award hanging on the wall behind me, right? So, like, to a certain degree, but I'm real quick to be dismissive of any of it. You know what I mean? Like, as soon as someone's, oh, that CD was so great, or it made a big impact on me. Okay, well, thanks, yeah, whatever. But the thing I'm doing right now, you really want to check out, right? Like, it's always,
Right.
again, for me, it's that new. The new and what's in front of me, and that, whether that's the new challenge, the new photo set, the new video, the new song, whatever, at the expense of everything else.
Yeah.
So I hear you, and I wonder if that's a fairly common thing among us. Um, I certainly know the more successful folks that I've worked with, as opposed to like or just that I'm friends with, tend to be in this category as well. Like the constant drive is one of those things that lets you succeed in an ecosystem of people that are trying to get their work out there and things like that. Like you need that extra bit of drive to make yourself keep pushing.
Mm.
But I don't know the expense that we've all sort of encountered as a result. I think that the artists that have a more lackadaisical approach to their work might enjoy the creation, but generally have, it doesn't get very far.
Yeah.
Because you do have to have that drive to complete the circle of work again and again and again. And it takes, I don't want to say stamina, but some sort of like a digging deep in the tank to really keep pushing, right?
For sure.
It does.
Yeah.